Hey, it's Romy here. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. This is the January 2020 reading for the sign of Virgo. If you're a Virgo sun, rising or moon, this general reading may resonate for you. If you're enjoying it, you can go ahead and support my work by purchasing the extended reading, and the link for that is in the description box below. Let's go ahead and see what's coming out in January for you, Virgo. Hey Virgo, January 2020. So big theme for you this month is going to be heart. You know, with the activation of so much of your fifth house in Capricorn season and us moving into a very different energy frequency that's much more about an increasing heart consciousness, you're really at the forefront, Virgo, of deciding, you know, how you want to show up in this world, who you want to be surrounded by, what you're passionate about, and who you're passionate about. And then coming to the decision of what changes or adjustments you're going to make in your life, whether you want to stick to the familiar routine or whether you want to step out and be a little bit braver, to take some risks and bring a little bit of adventure into your life. I think we start the month with Mars moving into Sagittarius in your fourth house, so it is quite an emotional time when you're thinking about the expansion of family, of your roots, of the environments in which you feel understood, where you feel safe, but where you're also ready to break free from the limitations of that. Okay, so this transit's really helping you, I feel, to actually get a little bit bolder. And to want to strike out. That Knight of Wands energy coming in, giving you a little bit of fire, giving you that opportunity to build up your energy, really tap into your heart center, right? Those fire signs can help us to do that on an emotional level. And I think for some of you that have been through quite an overwhelming 2019, where, you know, you're still trying to make sense perhaps of some of the adjustments or what it's thrown up for you. But this is the time when you really get to connect more powerfully into your heart center and decide what that means and what it looks like moving forward for you. It's a very visionary energy coming in for you in the early part of this year. And when we come into the 10th of the month, the full moon in Cancer, which is an eclipse, we're in eclipse season, is activating your 11th house. So you are thinking about the way that you are connecting with others, you know, those key friendships, the way that you're interacting with groups, with those sort of mastermind type of energies. In fact, from a career perspective, for many of you Virgos, that's a really wonderful time for something to be illuminated powerfully. So if you have the desire to want to connect, to want to collaborate, this moon is really going to help reveal to you perhaps the right direction or the way that your energy needs to be focused. Now we're in this eclipse season, but it's drawing us back to that new moon in July of 2019. So what was on the table, what's been on your mind in this last 6-month cycle that's now coming to a point of fruition or culmination? You know, this is the opportunity for you to really utilize the support and the resources that are around you to help you in terms of advancement and gain in and around your career. For those of you with a real focus on relationships at the moment, perhaps there's a fire sign in the mix here. We do have this energy charging off in the other direction. So the question that is coming through right now is, where is your focus? You know, we go back to this heart energy with you, Virgo. Is there a desire to want to reconnect or pull this person back in? Or are you ready to move on? Is this you? I mean, is this Knight of Wands you and you're ready to just charge off in a completely different direction? Maybe you want a different kind of energy, a different sort of a relationship. You're ready for something new, something more exciting. Remember, fifth house is really linking into that romantic area of your life. And as we approach the 12th with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, you are being provoked, really, to unearth, prioritize, and come clean with yourself about where you really want to be. Now, Wheel of Fortune coming in is talking to me about the fact that as we move through this mid part of the month where we have the lunar eclipse taking place, we then have Uranus moving direct in the sign of Taurus, which has been retrograde since August 11th. This has been in your 9th house of vision, okay? So this is your longer term thoughts about where you want to be, how you want to expand your world, what quest you feel you're on. That Knight of Wands really linking into the idea of wanting to charge off in a new direction, take a new direction in your life. Then we come upon the 12th with this key conjunction. So you are being called, pulled, pushed towards the areas of your life that feel unfulfilled, that feel like you want to explore, you want to tap into more. Where is the creativity that's felt blocked? Where have you felt limited or held back? This is when the heart chakra is really exploding, expanding, and saying, we just simply have to take this path now. We can't go back into an old type of energy. And actually here the universal forces kind of come in to almost create some kind of fated intervention, some karmic opportunity, doors opening, luck coming through for you, to help you perhaps come to that decision, or to give you the opportunity to be bold and to make that move. And you know, Knight of Wands for me can also talk about overseas travel. It can talk about the opportunity to relocate. So perhaps that's on the mind for some of you, but certainly I think you want to expand your horizons, Virgo. I think that the safe is feeling too safe for you now, too restricted. I think for some of you, you're starting to feel almost a little claustrophobic with a certain type of limitation that's been around you. And, you know, for a while, maybe that felt really comfortable, but I think you're ready for something different now. So Judgment card comes in, and it is this incredibly powerful month of the year where it is time for a rebirth for you. It's time for you to seek freedom and to be liberated from the set of circumstances that feel heavy and onerous to you. On the 13th, Venus moves into the sign of Pisces, which is your opposite sign, so this mirror energy, and it's really helping you to link into that soul self part of you, you know, where you are seeking to bond, where you want to commit. So the question is, from a heart perspective, with this changing level of heart consciousness, where do you feel aligned? What is calling to you, Virgo? What is the intuitive nudges that just won't go away, that every morning you keep waking up and thinking about, that through the day while you're going about your day-to-day tasks just keep creeping in to your thought process? This is where you're being guided, right? And Judgment coming through to tell you that this is the time. There's not the opportunity to stay in an old cycle anymore. And you know, when we move into Aquarius season, activating 6th house for you, which is you know, the house that you rule, Virgo, you are then being asked to start the implementation process. And you know, so many of us are now moving into this energy in 2020 where we're being asked to step up. This card of mastery coming through as we talk about this message, we're being asked to step up, take everything that we've learned, everything that we've been through over the last 12 months, even over the last decade, and start to make the changes and adjustments within ourselves first and foremost, and then in the world that surrounds us, making those adjustments so that we can find ourselves a path where we allow ourselves to thrive. This is about you giving yourself permission. I get this real strong note coming through for you, Virgo, about saying, you know, when you come to the conclusion of what your heart is asking for through this month of January and taking the time to really connect into that, there's then going to be a moment where you actually have to say, okay, if this is what I want, I have to commit to it. I have to decide that it matters enough in my world. I'm going to prioritize it to the degree that I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to show up. I'm going to do the work, because I know that's where the real change happens. And I think when you do, this is when you're going to have this incredible turn of events, you know, both the wheel and Judgment coming through powerfully for you, Virgo, to really indicate that this is such a catalyst month. You know, this is the month where your change in attitude and mindset is really setting out this big, bold new vision and helping you to come into alignment. 2 Cups is that relationship to self as much as anything else, okay? So you're really bringing together heart and mind and uniting them, and then getting very clear about what needs to happen on that next part of the journey. So when Mercury moves into Aquarius on the 16th of the month, it's really going to help you to start to communicate more freely, which I think is necessary as well. You may still be weighing up some choices or options around that point, but I feel you're more open to being able to discuss that with the people in your life that matter. And I think this is really important, because sometimes you can be quite closed, quite quiet, quite insular, and sort of really take on everything yourself without allowing people to step forward and support you, or to share in that vision, or to offer their insight, their guidance. And you know, when we have that full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Cancer with your 11th house, that is the time to really recognize who's on your side, Virgo. And I think it will reveal at that moment. You'll see very clearly who's for you, who's against you. And then you can align yourself with those people that are really helping to bring out the best in you, that want to support you, that want to be a part of that journey with you. As you're weighing up these options, you know, a couple of twos coming through in this reading, so definitely choices to come for you through the month of January. And I think you are going to perhaps be slightly split between heart and mind, Virgo, but this is where the real work is going to take place, right? This is where you're really being asked to focus on this theme of passion. Because 6th house, okay, that's bringing in all the practical, you know, how do we implement this? How is this going to work? This is the kind of the fallout of the idea or the big plan or the vision that we have. But without that passion and faith to keep you motivated, you're going to end up falling back into an old routine or an old way of doing things. So January is really a month of aligning with that heart energy powerfully for you. Is there an Aquarius in your world right now? If so, perhaps there has been some kind of situation where you have had a major shift or change take place, you know, perhaps unexpectedly so, and you're now kind of dealing with the fallout of that. But that star card is talking about the sense of renewal and hope, and, you know, new pathways emerging as a result of that, right? And remember, this is about what you see for yourself. What do you want for yourself? So for those that are really focused on their business, on their work, on their career right now, this is a month to really reprioritize what's important. Wow, okay, definitely a big decision coming through for you, Virgo, in this month of January. I think what's interesting, when we pull Two of Swords and we recognize that, you know, she's blindfolding herself right now, there is this need to go inwards. You know, this is not about the over analytical side of things. This is not about getting into the head too much, which you have a tendency to do at times. This is about really linking into the heart chakra. Look at all the water coming through with this card. I think that Cancer full moon eclipse could be quite awakening for you. It could be the catalyst that just opens up that emotional self, that really helps those of you that are struggling to tap into the more emotional side of these choices more freely, okay? And I think that's going to be really important, because without doing that, you're set to come up against almost a forced change, if that makes sense. So I think what the guides are saying is, be the one that steps out and is proactive before this comes in and your world gets turned upside down or completely redirected for you. And I don't mean that to come across in a negative way. I just I'm being guided to say that there's such profound adjustments taking place in your world that you know, the guides are wanting you to see for yourself and to embrace and to really feel joyous about, and not feel that you are losing. This is not a reading of lack or of having to sacrifice. This is you have choices, you have options, but what you don't have a choice with is the fact that change is inevitable, and your soul is ready to expand and go to the next level. So the card of the Emperor coming through could be an Aries energy that you're dealing with as well at the moment. It also talks to me about the sense of needing to maintain control, to stay in a position of power. So perhaps these choices are about how you maintain that power, how you maintain that position of authority. It's the father archetype that comes through with this Emperor. You know, the Emperor is ruled or is number 4 in the Fool's Journey in the Tarot, and we're moving into 2020, which is a number 4 year, which is also talking to us about where we want to invest our time, our energy, and our resources. And I think that this is one of the questions that you're being asked, right? Where are the environments with which I thrive? What do I need to feel safe, secure, and stable around me? But making those choices and decisions cannot be at the cost of what my heart is asking for, because here's where that true desire, that passion that's being illuminated, that is incessantly coming in time after time, you know, with every thought that you have or with every daydream that comes up. So you're not going to be able to move away from whatever that represents to you. If it's about getting started on some kind of new creative project, if it's about being with a specific person, if it's about making a change, expanding your family, you know, whatever is coming through for you, Virgo, you're not going to be able to ignore what your heart is asking for. And it doesn't have to be at the cost of feeling safe and secure. You know, the Emperor has got to where he has in life because he has that courage and that conviction and that absolute knowing that whatever he applies Eight of Pentacles, his time and energy to, is going to be successful. Sometimes it can bring up that aspect of, you know, too much authority, too much exercising control over a situation. And sometimes that can be your thing, Virgo, right? You like to be in control, you like to know all of the details. But let's take a leaf from the Knight of Wands energy coming through here. Maybe what your heart is asking for feels really risky. Maybe it feels really big. It's meant to feel big. This is meant to be a brand new cycle for you beginning, and you're meant to seize it. You're meant to say yes. That's where your wheel comes in. It's offering the opportunity to say, this vision can be yours, but you need to have faith. You need to follow your bliss with this. You need to go after what you feel passionate about. Okay, so your oracle card that comes through is Healing Chaos. And I think that let's just take a moment and focus on the beautiful butterflies that are emerging for me in this card, okay? Because they talk about this time of metamorphosis, this time of change for you, Virgo. You're literally on the cusp of it. You know, you're going to feel the provocation of that Saturn-Pluto conjunction. It's going to continue to play out through the next 12 months for you. So let it be on your terms, in the sense of knowing what it is that you want and allowing the universe to make the energetic shifts and adjustments to help move you onto that path. Sometimes that can feel like the chaos comes before the calm. Sometimes just when we're about to receive the things that we want, everything kind of goes a little crazy or feels a little disrupted or unsettled. But this is part of your healing. This is part of you stepping into a completely different energy and allowing that. We don't always get to see the bigger picture. Sometimes we have to take that step and be bold. And it isn't about being careless, right? Because actually I still have this very methodical, kind of thoughtful process that's coming through, but just this reminder that you still have to look at the bigger picture and see the areas that you're ready to change. Self-reflection coming in. Yeah, I think this is going to be a month. Again, lots of water coming through with this full moon being illuminated as well. Even when you feel moments through this month of January that you're out of your depth, Virgo, I'm going to say to you that you are way further ahead than what you perceive. It's almost just like giving yourself permission, right? Giving yourself permission to allow the familiar to fall away and to embrace something that might look and feel a little bit different, but could equally offer you something so much more visionary and fulfilling and juicy and passionate and full of excitement and adventure, okay? But as part of this process, I think there's a lot of internalization that's taking place. This isn't a time to be judging yourself though, Virgo, and careful you don't fall into that through this month of January. Don't be looking at all these external circumstances that are taking place and start to try to pick apart what you think you could have done differently or where you should have done better. That's not at all what this month is meant to be for you. It's meant to be the opportunity to say, you know, where do I really want to see myself in this next cycle in my life? And will I allow myself to grow and to change and to adapt and to move into that energy? Or do I want to stay stuck? And will I allow the universe to bring in that healing for me? Because this moment of rebirth is here for you and it's happening. Virgo, I hope this has given you some insight for the month of January. I'm going to go ahead and pull us some clarifying cards for the extended reading. If you'd like to join me, you can find the link in the description box below, and it helps to support my channel. We'll go into this in a bit more detail, see what cards come through. So where we pull the Knight of Wands, we have Queen of Cups energy coming in. So there could be a water sign or somebody very emotional, sensitive that's around you just now. Perhaps this is where you feel like you need to take a risk, or you're unsure about which way to move forward, or perhaps this is you and the Knight of Wands is somebody else in your world. If this is about a relationship dynamic that's happening just now, there's certainly some unexpected twists and turns that I feel are set to come through in January. We'll explore that more in the extended. Okay, the Emperor card is coming in again over that Two of Cups. What I'm going to say to you is you can't control love. You can't control passion. You can't control desire. It is going to burst out of you. It's going to flow regardless. So there's just a note about having to allow that heart consciousness to lead you and guide you. It will guide you to safety. Five of Pentacles, where are you worried about the lack or moving into a place where you're going to lose? This is fear-based for me, because actually the truth of it is what we have coming in is more balance, more opportunity, more abundance. Okay, Knight of Wands coming through again with that card of Judgment. Okay, so if this is a fire sign, Aries, Sagittarius or Leo, certainly they seem to be strongly impacting the dynamics through this month of January for you. Five of Swords energy coming in with that as well. So something's giving you a headache over this. You know, perhaps there is this element of expectation. Somebody either expecting of you or you expecting of them. Okay, Ten of Swords coming through with Eight of Pentacles. So we have a sense of closure, and I actually get quite a healing energy coming from this Ten of Swords for you today. It's linking me strongly into that healing chaos, but the ending of a chapter for you. Okay, it might have felt painful, but it's also bringing in liberation and freedom right next to that card of Judgment. And where do we move from here? We move forward if you allow yourself with the Chariot. But again, weighing up these options, it feels, you know, some of the energies that are coming through with this Knight of Wands, Two of Pentacles, the Chariot, it all feels a little bit kind of chaotic and haphazard. And this is why I feel you're probably trying to cling to this Emperor energy to restore order. Go with the flow, Virgo. This is where you're going to see the bounty. Lover's card coming through with the Star energy here. So it could be the sign of Gemini that's around you at the moment. Okay, Two of Swords bringing in the Seven of Pentacles. Really taking stock and thinking carefully about something, Virgo. Justice coming in. Could be a Libra energy here as well. Okay, we're going to go into these cards in more detail and discover additional messages for you. Seven of Swords with that healing chaos, and I think this is about self-sabotage patterns that are really being brought up to be cleared out for you. Nine of Cups coming through with that self-reflection, and also Four of Cups wanted to come out as well. Okay, Virgo, I look forward to continuing this conversation if you'd like to join me for the extended. Otherwise, thank you for being here and supporting my channel. If you've enjoyed the reading, please drop me a like and a comment, and I'll catch up with you soon. Take good care.